So I've been slowly avoiding this topic, mostly because I wanted to let it build up some steam before we discussed it. It's a really big deal when you talk about the player that's involved here, but today we are going over to the Detroit Red Wings and their goaltending situation. You see, last time we had spoke about the Red Wings, it was in a video where Steve Yzerman had discussed the contracts and what's going on with the team. He talked about Raymond, he talked about Seider, and how these guys may not get their money, or any sort of money, right away. And we said it in the video, that's not the biggest deal in the world, especially when you consider Steve Yzerman and his history. He's got all the Tampa Bay guys in his past that all signed bridge deals. Vasilevsky, Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman, Palat, JT Miller. They all signed bridge deals. So when it comes to Raymond and Seider, if they sign bridge deals, that's okay too. But in that video, we also talked about how Steve Yzerman said for goaltending, it doesn't really seem like the team is going to go down a route to find more goalies. At least if you base your opinion off of what Steve Yzerman said in that interview. Okay, that's fine. If the Red Wings want to run it back with Alex Lyon, the Lion King, that's not a bad idea. Lyon was good in this previous season, and I'd say that there's room for improvement there. Sure, he's 31 years old, but he's never really been a full-time NHL starter up until this season, where he played half the year in 44 games. So, Lyon, you can say there's a capacity to get better. Goaltenders usually take a longer time to become prime players anyway, so Lyon's fine. I think a lot of Red Wings fans will be okay with running it back with him. Ville Husso is still here. He's got that contract, and of course, there's a lot of expectation for him to become better. Maybe even a little bit of a cynicism surrounding him in his game too, because he was so bad this most previous season, but then again, he was hurt for a good chunk of the year. So, Ville Husso, Alex Lyon, if you wanted to have this tandem, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world. It's passable at best. If Alex Lyon can really become a stud, then okay, maybe it could be better than I'm anticipating, but still, for the Red Wings and their goaltending search, there have been many rumors linking the team to one Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins. Now, we can go over every intricate source that goes out there and talks about it, but the most recent report was from this article on OttawaCitizen.com. Bruce Garriock from yesterday on Sunday, Steve Staios is open for business as the Senators prepare for the NHL Draft in Vegas. Now, I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, this is the Ottawa Sun, this is Bruce Garriock, this is an Ottawa Senators article. Yeah, that's right, this is a Sens article, but it goes over how the Ottawa Senators are apparently interested in Boston Bruins goaltender Linus Ullmark. But then, it also goes out there and talks about some other teams. The Sens have held talks with pretty much every team that has a goalie available, including Boston. Okay, there's one. Continuing on here, the club has turned its attention to Ullmark because the Sens have been chasing him since the trade deadline last March. He has 1 year left at $5 million and has a $1 million bonus due on July 1st, so the Bruins would like to deal him before they have to cut the 30-year-old a check. The Vegas Golden Knights and Detroit Red Wings are reportedly also involved in talks to acquire Ullmark. So, it's just one report going out there and saying this, but Ryan Hanna of the Winged Wheel Pod said this is yet another one stating Detroit has interest in Ullmark. I'd imagine any potential deal would come with a contract extension, as Steve Yzerman talked about not wanting a goalie for only a couple of years. And the replies are kind of mixed. I think different parts of Detroit Red Wings social media discourse are mixed to leaning positively on the idea of acquiring Ullmark. I'm not seeing too many people going out there and vehemently saying, no, we shouldn't get him, he sucks, he's this, he's that, Lyon's better, just go for him. Like, I don't know, Linus Ullmark's a Vezina caliber winning goaltender. He has the trophy from last year. I mean, his .938 save percentage was just astounding. And he won the trophy because of it. He's 1 year removed from that. Sure, he had a pretty bad playoffs this year, .886 save percentage in a 2-game sample he had. But you could say the same thing about him last year. .896 save percentage, as the team ended up blowing a 3-1 lead in the series against the Florida Panthers. Either way, though, Ullmark still had a .950 in this previous season, playing 40 games, so splitting the load half and half with Jeremy Swayman. 30 years old right now, signed on to the end of 2025, making $5 million. So if he does get traded and he does get re-signed, then maybe it takes him till he's mid-30s, late 30s territory. 37, maybe, is like the max there you could probably see. I mean, goaltending longevity is super important in the NHL, and Steve Yzerman has made it very clear that the business of getting goaltenders for the short term and moving on from them right away, well, that, unfortunately, is the way he's been forced to build his Red Wings teams. It's not really what he prefers, and we've seen that through Yzerman teams in the past. I mean, Vasilevsky, Ben Bishop was a thing for so long, and then once Steve Yzerman left, it was Vasilevsky's crease pretty much forever, until that guy's done. Now, in Motown, it took a while to get there, to finally get themselves goaltending that was stable and maybe year by year, consistent. I don't want to say Alex Lyon is guaranteed to being good next year, but there's a good bet that he will be. So trying to stable that out with a guy who's already a Vezina winner in Linus Ullmark makes sense. It's just what is the price that the Wings would need to pay there? And if there are other teams like the Ottawa Senators and the Vegas Golden Knights that are in on Ullmark, then what is the bidding that has to go on there? Also, quick aside before we continue with this conversation, why the hell are the Vegas Golden Knights involved in Ullmark? Why? They had Adin Hill, they had Logan Thompson, both of these guys are fantastic. I mean, any goaltender that Vegas has, they all become great. Their goaltending staff is one of the only ones, I think, in the NHL that rivals Vancouver's for being as proficient with every single player they have as they have been. Why do they need Ullmark? They're fine. Either way, let's go back over to the Wings. This post by Ryan Hanna was also posted on the Wings sub. I wanted to go over some thoughts made by Wings fans. Depending on the cost, Coltron57 says, I don't hate it. Ullmark turns 31 shortly and has been very consistent across his career between Buffalo and Boston, so it's not like he's a product of Boston. Definitely more reliable than the dart throws we've tried each year that work for 2 months and then drop off. Tandems are on vogue these days, and he could be a nice veteran to split the crease with Cossa while Augustine marinates. So this commenter is going out there and dismissing Lyon completely into the long term, because of course, I mean, Cossa, Augustine, these guys are in the pipeline. You need some sort of a bridge to get there. We've been saying it this entire year, right? This season, 23-24, and eventually 24-25, I guess you could say. These are transitory years. The Wings are not going to win any championships in this time frame, but before they start doing that, you have to start building the fundamentals, getting to those winning habits, and get guys who are used to playing meaningful games in March and playing some playoff games here and there. Raymond and Seider are starting to enter that territory, so while they're growing and getting better, this is where you have stud goaltending to make sure that their job in getting to the playoffs is a lot easier. Then, by the time Linus Ullmark fades out, he's a lot older, he's 34, he's 35, that's when Sebastian Cossa or Trey Augustine, one of the two, will be in the crease full-time. Ullmark will play 25 to 30 games a year. Raymond and Seider will have already played 6 seasons in the NHL or something like that. And what? Maybe the team's a lot better. The team makes the playoffs. The team consistently makes the second round. Maybe they get another streak going of consecutive playoff performances. And they'll all be doing it with some big contracts like Andrew Kopp and JT Compher on the... Okay, we're gonna... Yeah, that's an aside for that, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the idea of the Red Wings going after Ullmark. We hadn't even talked about the trade price. I mean, a lot of people are tossing out there Jonathan Berggren's name because the Bruins need centers. That could be a possibility. Maybe add on some picks, add on some extra stuff too. But if it is a guy like Berggren and a second or whatever for Ullmark, what are your thoughts on that? What else do you think Ullmark should fetch on the trade market for Boston if you are Steve Yzerman trying to get this goaltender for your team? And just in general, do you like this idea? Is it a thing that you could go with? Would you want to see a guy like Ullmark, a Vezina caliber goaltender of this decade, make his debut with the red and white? And do you think that'd be a good idea to dethrone a guy like Lyon while we wait for Cossa and or Augustine to do their thing? Is he the proper stopgap? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.